You know the habits that take you away from God. You know the habits that take you to God. In God, in His unity of consciousness is good. Away from Him in the duality of consciousness is evil. Because it's duality, and evil exists in duality. Third, be thoroughly sincere with yourself or your conscience as to what you do. Be thoroughly sincere with yourself. Is this the thing I should do? Is this action taking me to God, or is it taking me away from Him? Be sincere with yourself. Be honest with yourself. And fourth, don't try to explain evil away. Don't say this evil does not exist. It does exist in this outward consciousness. It does exist in this cosmic dream. But also say at the same time, I have the power because God is within me to resist it and to overcome it and to prove that in the unity of God's consciousness, evil does not exist. And so finally, never forget this one thing. If you listen to the voice of evil or the voice of duality or materiality, God's voice fades. Realize that. It isn't too bad sometimes to fall, but if you keep listening to that voice of evil, God's voice behind you will fade away. As it says in Matthew, for whosoever hath, to him shall be given. If you listen to the voice of God, if you listen to the voice of good, it will be increased. But he goes on to say, but whosoever hath not, from him shall be taken away even that which he hath. So we cannot afford, if we want to cure this thing called evil, to listen to evil's voice, to listen to the voice of duality. Otherwise, that great, silent, exhilarating, self-sufficient voice of God will fade, and we'll be left without anything. And so we cannot afford to do that. And we surely are thankful in this Thanksgiving Day that we have the inspiration to keep at it, not to listen to evil's voice, but to listen to God's voice, which is within each and every one of us. And so there are a few important points about good and evil which we can remember. And finally, I'd like to read just at this time, because I think it is a wonderful psalm to read on Thanksgiving Day, the 23rd Psalm, with a little interpretation which the Master has given from time to time. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. That is, the Lord is all fulfillment. In this outward existence, desires come, they pass away, and new desires, there's no end to it. And so, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. When we have the Lord, He casteth away all desire. You know how hard desire is to overcome. That's natural. You get one and you find, say, this is it. You get another and another comes, there's no end to it. But when God comes, He casteth away all desire. He maketh me to lie down in green pasture. He leadeth me beside the still waters. The green pastures means the true wisdom which comes from contacting God will be ours. And the still waters refers to the still waters of bliss and God communion. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for His name's sake. Those who hear the cosmic sound of Om and diligently try to merge in it, they are righteous. That's what it means. Yea, though I walk through the valley and shadow of death, or change, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. If God is with us, who can be against us? No matter what change comes, if you feel and know the presence of God, there is no death. The death is an outward consciousness. Know that unity of His presence, there is no change there. No death. Yea, though I walk through the valley and shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thy rod of discipline and thy staff of goodwill. If we have the goodwill of God, we will be comforted. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. That means thou preparest a table in the eternal establishment of God. Even though your enemies crowd you down here, if you have the table prepared in the eternal presence of God, what matters is that? Nothing. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. That means thou anointest my head with the oil of spiritual consciousness. The Sanskrit word for oil and energy is the same. And so that refers, when they said thou anointest my head with oil, that refers to the spiritual energy which we perceive and know and are one with in the holy mountain or the supreme center of the brain. My cup runneth over. Every cell vibrates with the joy and bliss of the presence of God. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. By thy grace, O Father. Lord means Christ conscious. By thy grace, I will attain that eternal consciousness which is eternal, existing forever. I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. The Master gave a wonderful interpretation in the light of yoga, so to speak, and God's love of the 23rd Sun.
In order to profit from these practical teachings in a meaningful way, which will have a definite and tangible impact in your life, we suggest that you subscribe to the Self-Realization Fellowship's home study course on the science of yoga. Please visit the SRF on the web at yogananda-srf.org or call the SRF's Mother Center in Los Angeles, California at 323-225-2471.